La música de Harry Fraud.
And the pitch, and Blanco bunts it, and it's a good bunt. Choate has it. He will wing it down the right field line. Here comes Crawford, and this game is over. And the Giants, once again, win a game in a very unusual way as this crowd goes crazy.
this curse away. Cry for you the same.
losers when they didn't want to listen. Watch my flow glisten like a dandelion. I think I'm multiplying my dough stacks. I know that I'm full of hate because this world's full of snakes. You don't know who to trust. It's just another brother under.
Now on 3-2 to Utley with Rollins leading from second. Here's the pitch from Beckett. Call strike three and a no-hitter. Josh Beckett for the 21st time in Dodger history. A no-hitter. The 11th no-hitter in Los Angeles Dodger history. The first since Hideo Nomo in 1996. Josh Beckett, a no-hitter.
Inside the Show with Justin Allegri.
Hello there, baseball fans. Before Tuesday's action gets kicked off, let's recap what went down around the league on Monday. Looking first at the
Inside the Show with Justin Allegri.
Happy Hump Day, everyone. As we hit the halfway point of the week, let's take a look back at Tuesday's news and results. Starting off in the National League East, the Atlanta Braves were in Miami to take on the Marlins, and the Braves came away with the win, 8-2. The Cardinals were visiting the Cubbies at Wrigley Field in Chicago, and St. Louis was victorious in this one. The final was 1-0. The Colorado Rockies paid visit to Miller Park to match up with the Brewers, and it was the Rockies who came out on top, 7-1. Justin Morneau was a major force at the plate as he drove in 4. The San Francisco Giants were in Phoenix to take on the Diamondbacks at Chase Field, and it was the D-backs who grabbed the victory, 7-2. Mark Trumbo had a huge day offensively, collecting 3 hits and driving in 3. The Padres were in LA to take on the Dodgers, and it was the Dodgers who nabbed the win, the final 4-3. Yasiel Puig collected 4 hits and led the charge offensively for the winning side. The Baltimore Orioles battled the Tampa Bay Rays and
Inside the Show with Justin Allegri.
The weekend is almost here and some great series are ahead, but before we get there, we'll go back to Thursday's action to see how it shook out. Starting off in the National League East, the Red Sox took on the Phillies in Philadelphia in an interleague matchup, and it was the Red Sox who came out on top. Final score was 4-2. Right now, the Phillies sit in first place in the National League East division, 1 game ahead of second. The Mets took on the Nats in Washington, D.C., and it was the Mets who came out on top, the final 4-3. Looking at the standings, the Nationals are in first place in the NL East, 1 game ahead of second. The Mets are 4th in the division, 1 game out of first. The Pirates went up against the Reds in Cincinnati, and Pittsburgh was victorious in this one. The score was 7-5. Andrew McCutchen was a force at the plate, driving in 3 runs. As of today, the Reds sit in 4th place in the National League Central Division. They're 2 games back. The Pirates are 2nd.
Inside the Show with Justin Allegri.
The start of a new week is upon us. Let's take a look back at how Sunday's baseball action unfolded. Looking first at the NL East, the Washington Nationals matched up against the Fightin' Phils at Citizens Bank Park. The Nationals came away with the win, 7-0. Max Scherzer earned the victory on the mound and had the strikeout pitch working as he racked up 12 in this one. Heading into today, the Phillies are in 3rd place in the NL East, 1 game out of first. The New York Mets were in Atlanta to take on the Braves, and it was the boys from Flushing who came away with the win, the final 4-3. At the moment, the Braves sit in last place in the National League East. They're 2 games back. The Mets are 3rd in the division, 1 game out of first. The Tampa Bay Rays took on the Marlins in South Florida, and the Marlins came away with the win. The score was 4-1. Jose Fernandez held the opposition in check, allowing only 1 earned run over 8 strong innings and earning the win. Looking at the standings, the Marlins sit atop the NL East, 1 game ahead of second. The Rays are in 2nd place in the AL East.
Inside the Show with Justin Allegri.
Happy Friday, baseball fans. Before the weekend series get underway, here are the highlights from Thursday's action. Starting off in the National League East, the Philadelphia Phillies paid a visit to the nation's capital to play the Nats. The Phillies came away with the win. The score was 3-1. Chad Billingsley held the opposition in check, allowing only 1 earned run over 8 strong innings and earning the win. Right now, the Nationals sit in 2nd place in the National League East division, 1 game out of first.
Inside the Show with Justin Allegri.
Good morning, baseball fans. A great weekend of baseball has concluded, and we're set for a new week of games. But first, here's what happened around the league on Sunday. Starting off in the National League East, the Phillies matched up against the Nationals in D.C., and it was the Nationals who
Inside the Show with Inside the Show with Justin Allegri.
The weekend is almost here and some great series are ahead, but before we get there, we'll go back to Thursday's action to see how it shook out. Looking first at the NL East, the Miami Marlins paid visit to the city of brotherly love to match up with the Phils. And it was the Marlins who came out on top. The final was 2-0. Jose Fernandez earned the victory on the hill, tossing a complete game gem. As of today, the Phillies sit in 4th place in the National League East Division. 5.
La música de Harry Fraud.
Inside the Show with Justin Allegri.
Welcome to this Memorial Day edition of Inside the Show. Today we honor the men and women who have lost their lives serving in the U.S. Armed Forces. But before we get there, let's recap what happened around the league on Sunday. Looking first at the NL East, Marcell Ozuna dominated at the dish with 2 long balls and 6 RBIs. He is currently among the NL leaders in runs batted in. Heading into today, the Marlins are in 2nd place in the NL East, only a half game back.
Inside the Show with Justin Allegri.
Hello, baseball fans. Before Thursday's action gets kicked off, let's recap what went down around the league on Wednesday. Looking first at the NL East, the Philadelphia Phillies paid visit to the Braves in Atlanta. Atlanta was the winner, the final 4-3. The Miami Marlins were in D.C. to take on the Nationals, and Miami was the winner. Score was 4-1. The Orioles visited the Mets at Citi Field for some interleague baseball, and it was the Orioles who came out on top. The score was 5-1. Chris Davis was a clutch performer at the dish with 4 ribbies. The Los Angeles Dodgers paid visit to the Brew Crew at Miller Park in Milwaukee, and the Brewers came away with the win.
Inside the Show with Justin Allegri.
The start of a new week is upon us. Let's take a look back at how Sunday's baseball action unfolded. Starting off in the National League East, the New York Mets took on the Phillies in the city of brotherly love. The Mets came away with the win. Final score was 5-2. Jerry's Familia was victorious in this one, earning his first win. At the moment, the Phillies are in last place in the NL East.
Inside the Show with Justin Allegri.
Hello, baseball fans. Before Thursday's action gets kicked off, let's recap what went down around the league on Wednesday. Looking first at the NL East, the Philadelphia Phillies went up against the Rockies in the Mile High City, and the Phillies came away with the W. The final was 2-0. Cliff Lee was in total control.
Inside the Show with Justin Allegri.
The start of a new week is upon us. Let's take a look back at how Sunday's baseball action unfolded. Looking first at the NL East, the Phillies visited the Nats in the nation's capital, and it was the Fightin' Phils who stole the victory in
Inside the Show with Justin Allegri.
Good Thursday morning to you, Show Nation. Let's jump right into Wednesday's baseball action. Looking first at the NL East, the Philadelphia Phillies took on the Mets in Flushing, New York, and it was the Phils who grabbed the victory. Score was 4-1. Chase Utley led the charge offensively with 3 RBIs in the contest. His modest hitting streak was also extended to 5 straight games. The Washington Nationals were in Chicago to take on the Cubs, and it was the boys from Northside Chicago who grabbed the W, 6-1. Jason Hamill was dominant on the bump, grabbing the victory with a complete game effort. The Marlins visited PNC Park to play the Pirates, and it was the Pirates who prevailed. The final was 8-7. The Atlanta Braves did battle with the Dodgers in the entertainment capital of the world, and it was the Braves who came out on top. The final was 10-7. Nick Markakis was on fire with the bat as he came away with 4 base hits in the game. The Rockies did battle against the Reds at Great American Ballpark, and it was the Reds who emerged in this one. The final was 1-0. The Giants were in Milwaukee to take on the Brewers, and it was the Giants who nabbed the victory. The final was 6-3. The Arizona Diamondbacks took on the Cardinals at Busch Stadium, and it was the Cards who came away victorious. The final was 9-6. Matt Holliday was clutch at the plate as he picked up 3 RBIs. The Kansas City Royals were in the Bronx to take on the Yankees, and the Royals came away with the extra innings win. The score was 6-5. The Seattle Mariners were at the Trop in St. Pete to take on the Rays. The Mariners came away with the win. The score was 4-1. Felix Hernandez gave the bullpen a day off, turning in a complete game effort in the win. He is among the AL leaders in wins. The Chicago White Sox paid visit to the Bluebirds in Toronto, and it was the Blue Jays who came out on top. The score was 3-1. Marcus Stroman pitched into the 9th inning and collected the win on the mound. He only allowed 1 earned run. The Astros paid visit to the Orioles in Baltimore, and it was the O's who came away victorious. The final 4-3. Darren O'Day earned the victory on the mound, his first of the season. The Texas Rangers did battle against the Tribe at Progressive Field, and it was Cleveland who was victorious. The final 5-3. Mike Aviles turned in a nice performance offensively with 3 base hits. Corey Kluber started and pitched well enough to earn his 6th victory of the season. He is among the AL leaders in wins. The Boston Red Sox were in Minnesota to take on the Twins, and it was the Twins who came out on top. The final 6-4. Torrey Hunter had a great game offensively, picking up 4 knocks in the process. The San Diego Padres visited Angels Stadium in Anaheim to take on the Halos. The Angels came away with the win. The final was 2-0. Matt Shoemaker was dominant throughout the game, tossing a complete game 1 hitter for the win. He currently owns the best ERA in the American League. The Tigers took on the Green and Gold at Oakland's O.Co Coliseum, and it was the Tigers who came out on top, 6-1. And that's the show. Thanks for listening in. I'll be back tomorrow with more news and updates from around the majors.
hard to when they didn't want to listen. Watch my flow glisten like a dandelion. I think I'm multiplying my dough stacks to know that I'm full of hate because this world's full of snakes. You don't know who to trust, it's just another brother under.
Salvador Perez, the 2-2. Popped up, send the ball.
Inside the Show with Justin Allegri.
The weekend is almost here and some great series are ahead, but before we get there, we'll go back to Thursday's action to see how it shook out. Starting out in the NL West, the Braves battled the Giants at AT&T Park, and it was the boys from San Fran who collected the W in this one. The final was 6-3. Right now, the Giants are in second place in the NL West, one game out of first. The Pittsburgh Pirates took on the Padres in America's finest city, and it was the Pods who collected the W, the final 4-3. Looking at the standings, the Padres are in third place in the NL West. They trail first by 4 games. The Pirates sit in second place in the National League Central, only a half game back. The Detroit Tigers paid visit to the OC to take on the Halos at Angels Stadium, and the game went to extras with the Angels walking off with the win. The final was 5-4. As of today, the Angels sit in first place in the American League West Division, 1 game ahead of second. The Tigers are in fourth place in the AL Central, 9 games back. The Yankees paid visit to the East Bay to do battle with the Athletics. The A's came away with the win, 6-1. Jesse Hahn earned the victory on the hill, tossing a complete game gem. At the moment, the A's sit in second place in the American League West, 1 game out of first. The Yankees are atop the American League East Division, 6 games up on second place. The Cleveland Indians visited the M's at Safeco Field in Seattle, and it was the Tribe who came away victorious, 11-1. Carlos Carrasco was dominant on the bump, grabbing the victory with a complete game effort. Heading into today, the Mariners are in fourth place in the AL West, 5.5 games back. The Indians are leading the American League Central Division. They hold a comfortable 5-game advantage. The Red Sox paid visit to North Texas to match up against the Rangers, and it was the boys from Boston who were victorious. The score was 3-1. Wade Miley gave the bullpen a day off, turning in a complete game effort in the win. Right now, the Rangers sit in third place in the American League West Division, 5 games back. The Red Sox sit in last place in the American League East Division, 8 games out of first. Thanks for tuning in today. We'll be back here tomorrow and all season long.
Inside the Show with Justin Allegri.
Good morning, baseball fans. Great Sunday action lies ahead, but first, here's what happened in Major League Baseball on Saturday. Starting off in the National League East, the Colorado Rockies visited Eastern Pennsylvania to take on the Phillies, and visiting Colorado was victorious in this one in extra innings. The final score was 3-2. The Troy Hawkins pitched well enough to earn his first victory of the year. In other news from Philly, the club has acquired starting pitcher Jacob deGrom and catcher Travis d'Arnaud in a trade with the New York Mets for second baseman Chase Utley and one other player, according to team reports. The Miami Marlins visited the Big Apple to do battle with the Mets at Citi Field, and it was the Mets who came away victorious. The final score was 3-2. Bartolo Colon started and pitched well enough to earn his 6th victory of the season. He is currently in the top 5 in the NL in wins. The Nationals paid visit to the Reds at Great American Ballpark, and the Reds grabbed the victory. The final score was 3-2. The Atlanta Braves were in the City by the Bay to take on the Giants, and the Braves came away with the win. Final score was 5-2. The Royals were in Chicago to do battle against the Cubs at Wrigley, and it was the Royals who prevailed, 7-1. Jason Vargas earned the victory on the hill, tossing a complete game gem. He is among the leaders in complete games pitched in the AL. The Diamondbacks did battle with the Brewers in Milwaukee, and Milwaukee was victorious in this one. The score was 2-1. The Dodgers were in St. Louis to take on the Cardinals, and it was the boys in blue who emerged in this one. The score was 2-1. The Pittsburgh Pirates matched up against the Padres at Petco Park in the Gaslamp District, and the Pirates came away with the win. The final was 5-4. Starling Marte collected 4 hits and led the charge offensively for the winning side. He is among the National League leaders in stolen bases. The Tampa Bay Rays were in Charm City to match up against the Orioles, and it was the Orioles who came away with the win. The final score was 3-2. Nolan Reimold was phenomenal at the plate, picking up 2 round trippers. The Toronto Blue Jays matched up against the Minnesota Twins at Target Field. The Blue Jays came away with the win. The final score was 6-2. Jose Bautista was a force at the plate, driving in 3 runs. His modest hitting streak was also extended to 5 straight games. The Detroit Tigers were in Anaheim to take on the Angels, and it was the Tigers who prevailed. Final score was 4-2. The New York Yankees visited the Athletics in Oakland, and it was the Yankees who came out on top. Final score was 4-2. Brian McCann put his power on display, slugging 2 big flies. The Cleveland Indians paid visit to the Mariners in the Emerald City. The Indians came away with the win. The final was 1-0. The Boston Red Sox did battle with the Rangers in North Texas, and it was the Bo Sox who came away victorious. The final was 6-3. The White Sox were in Houston to take on the Astros, and it was the White Sox who came out on top, 14-3. Jose Abreu had a huge day offensively, collecting 3 hits and driving in 3. He is among the American League leaders in home runs. John Danks was victorious in this one, earning his first win. As always, thanks for tuning in. That's all we've got this morning. Enjoy the games later today, and we'll see you tomorrow.
With everyone standing at Dodger Stadium, Kershaw pitches. Carpenter swings and hits a drive. Right center field. It's in the gap.
Inside the Show with Justin Allegri.
Hello there, baseball fans. Before Tuesday's action gets kicked off, let's recap what went down around the league on Monday. Looking first at the NL East, the Cubs did battle against the Fish in Miami.
Inside the Show with Justin Allegri.
Happy Friday, baseball fans. Before the weekend series get underway, here are the highlights from Thursday's action. Starting off in the National League East, the Cincinnati Reds were at Citizens Bank Park to do battle with the Phils, and it was Cincinnati who came away with the win. Final score was 4-2. Looking at the standings, the Phillies sit in last place in the National League East. They're 13.5 out of first place. The Chicago Cubs paid a visit to the nation's capital to play the Nats, and it was the Cubbies who came away victorious. The final was 6-3. Tommy La Stella was hot at the plate, collecting 3 hits in the game. Neil Ramirez earned the victory on the mound, his first of the season. As of today, the Nationals sit in first place in the National League East Division, 1 game ahead of second. The Cubs are in 4th place in the NL Central, 6 games out of first. The Mets were in Phoenix to take on the D-backs, and it was the Mets who came out on top. The final score was 3-2. At the moment, the Diamondbacks sit in 3rd place in the National League West Division. They trail first by 4 games. The Mets sit in 3rd place in the National League East Division, only a game and a half back. The St. Louis Cardinals matched up against the Dodgers at Chavez Ravine, and it was the Dodgers who came out on top. Final score was 6-2. Adrian Gonzalez led the charge offensively with 3 knocks in the contest. Brandon McCarthy started and pitched well enough to earn his 6th victory of the season. Heading into today, the Dodgers are in first place in the NL West, 3.5 games ahead of second. The Cardinals are in 2nd place in the NL Central, 1 game out of first.
Inside the Show with Justin Allegri.
Happy Friday, baseball fans. Before the weekend series get underway, here are the highlights from Thursday's action. Starting off in the National League East, the Los Angeles Dodgers were in Flushing, New York to take on the Mets. And it was the boys from Flushing who came away with the win. Final score was 5-2. Matt Harvey was the winning pitcher in this one, his 7th victory of the year. He is currently among the NL leaders in earned run average. Looking at the standings, the Mets sit in second place in the National League East Division, 3 games back. The Washington Nationals paid visit to PNC Park where they took on the hometown Pirates, and Pittsburgh was victorious in this one. The score was 5-1. Starling Marte was a major force at the plate as he drove in 4. He is among the National League leaders in stolen bases. Brandon Compton held the opposition in check, allowing only 1 earned run over 8 strong innings and earning the win. As of today, the Pirates are in first place in the NL Central. They have a small game-and-a-half advantage over second. The Nationals are in third place in the NL East. They're 3.5 games back. The Marlins were in San Diego to take on the hometown Padres, and the Marlins came away with the win. The final was 3-0. Jose Fernandez twirled a dominating complete game shutout on the mound for the victory. He currently owns the lowest ERA in the National League among qualified pitchers. At the moment, the Padres sit in 4th place in the National League West, 8 games out of first. The Marlins are atop the National League East Division. They have a 3-game cushion. The Milwaukee Brewers were in Arizona to take on the Diamondbacks, and it was the Brewers who grabbed the win, 6-1. Cliff Lee gave the bullpen a day off, turning in a complete game effort in the win. Heading into today, the Diamondbacks are leading the National League West, 1 game ahead of second. The Brewers sit in second place in the National League Central, only a game and a half back. The Baltimore Orioles did battle with the Yankees in the Bronx, and it was the boys from the Bronx who were victorious. Final score was 5-2. Garrett Jones turned in a nice performance offensively with 3 base hits. His modest hitting streak was also extended to 5 straight games. CC Sabathia earned the victory on the mound, his 8th of the season. Right now, the Yankees are leading the AL East, 6 games up on second place. The Orioles are second in the division, 6 games out of first. The Chicago White Sox paid visit to the rock and roll capital of the world to match up against the Indians, and the White Sox were the victors, the final 7-3. John Danks was the winning pitcher in this one, his 7th victory of the year. As of today, the Indians are leading the American League Central. They are enjoying a comfortable 9-game cushion. The White Sox are at the bottom of the division. They're 15.5 games out of first. The Seattle Mariners paid visit to the Tigers in the Motor City, and it was the M's who came away victorious. The score was 5-1. Felix Hernandez earned the win on the mound, his 11th of the year. He is among the leaders in complete games pitched in the AL. Looking at the standings, the Tigers sit in 4th place in the American League Central Division, 14 games back. The Mariners sit in 4th place in the American League West. They're 16.5 games out of first. The Twins took on the Angels in Southern California, and Minnesota was the winner, 9-4. Joe Mauer led the charge offensively with 3 RBIs in the contest. He has now hit safely in 7 straight games. Tommy Milone started and pitched well enough to earn his 6th victory of the season. At the moment, the Angels are in first place in the AL West, a sizable 7 games ahead of second. The Twins are in third place in the AL Central, 12 games behind first place. The Blue Jays were at O.Co Coliseum to take on the A's, and the A's were the winners. The score was 4-1. Scott Kazmir earned the victory on the mound, his 8th of the season.
Inside the Show with Justin Allegri.
Happy Saturday morning to you. Here's the news and results from Friday. Looking first at the NL East, the Philadelphia Phillies paid visit to Wrigleyville to match up against the Cubs, and it was the Phillies who came out on top.
Inside the Show.
Center. Hicks going back and now over, makes the catch on the warning track. Aaron Hicks, 420 feet from home plate, hauls it in.
What a great catch by Aaron Hicks.
La música de Harry Fraud.
0-2 coming. Swing and a fly ball toward right center into the alley. Bradley on a run. Jackie dives. Oh, he caught it. He laid out and made a sensational play. Runner tags. He'll advance into third. Jackie Bradley, Superman in the alley. And how about the appreciation from these fans? A spectacular catch.
I'll never meet your ever part of me. You fit perfectly, completely, and loneliness melt this curse away. Though I'll never know your name, I'll cry for you the same.
And again, the 2-2. Popped him up. Foul ground. Avila is under it. And they got it. The Tigers have done it. For the fourth consecutive year, they are champions of the American League Central Division.
Inside the Show with Justin Allegri.
The season is young, but the excitement and action is in full swing. Let's take a look back at how yesterday's action played out on the field. Looking first at the NL Central, the Pittsburgh Pirates paid visit to the Midwest to take on the Cardinals at Busch Stadium. The Cardinals grabbed the win, the final 5-3. Matt Adams was a clutch performer at the dish with 4 ribbies. He extended his hitting streak to a modest 6 straight games. Right now, the Cardinals are atop the NL Central. They have a small half-game advantage. That'll do it for the recap of opening day. Many other teams will get their new campaigns started today, so enjoy the games and don't forget to join us tomorrow morning for a complete recap.